Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really pivotal role, the project coordinator.
hmm
Our main source is this article, Top 33 Project Coordinator Interview Questions and Answers.
Yeah, it's quite comprehensive.
It is. And our mission here is to really unpack what a project coordinator does, their core duties, the qualities they absolutely need, and how they handle the day-to-day project challenges.
Right.
So this is for you, the listener, whether you're maybe thinking about this as a career or you work with coordinators or you're just, well, curious about project management roles.
And the article's format, using those interview questions, general, technical, scenario-based, it gives us a great way to see what employers are actually looking for.
Exactly. It's a practical lens.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's get started.
Well, the first thing that jumps out from those questions
Yeah.
is how fundamental the role is. I mean, at its core, it's about keeping a project moving forward.
Right. Tracking development, dealing with issues.
Precisely. The article makes it clear they're key for tracking progress and, troubleshooting problems as they pop up. They're often the first point of contact.
The go-to person.
Yeah. And they have this big responsibility for keeping the whole team updated. Everyone needs to be on the same page.
Okay, and where do they usually sit in the team structure? The article mentions they typically work under a project manager.
That's the common setup, yes. You can think of the project manager as maybe setting the overall strategy, the big picture.
Mm.
And the project coordinator focuses more on let's say, the minute-to-minute parts, the administrative work needed to execute that strategy. They handle a lot of the organizational heavy lifting.
Got it. So the backbone, kind of, making sure everyone knows their steps.
Exactly. The article really hammers home two key things.
Yeah.
Organization and communication.
Communication seems huge here.
Oh, absolutely. They need to get project details out to the team members clearly. And they act as that vital link between the team doing the work and the project manager overseeing it.
That flow of information sounds critical, prevents things falling through the cracks.
Totally. Misunderstandings can derail things quickly.
So day to day, what does that look like? The article talks about ensuring projects hit those key goals on time, on budget, high quality.
Yeah, the classic project management triangle, right? That's their focus.
The holy grail.
It really is. And to get there, they're involved in, well, a whole range of activities. Coordinating resources, equipment, information, basically all the moving parts.
It's not just tracking then. They're actively coordinating.
Very much so. The article notes they work with the project manager to create those action plans, figuring out resources, setting deadlines, working out budgets.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So they have input into the planning.
Definitely. And they're coordinating specific tasks too, like managing the schedule, even aspects of risk management.
Risk management as well. Interesting. How deep does that go?
Well, maybe not the primary risk assessment, but certainly tracking potential risks that emerge day to day and making sure the PM knows about them. And then there's the admin side.
Right, the paperwork.
Lots of it. Keeping all the project documentation in order, handling financial queries. It's substantial.
Which brings us back to those skills. The article stresses strong time management and communication are non-negotiable.
Foundational, absolutely.
And then it lists out specific responsibilities, like breaking down big projects into smaller, manageable steps and setting deadlines. That sounds core.
It really is. That decomposition makes huge tasks seem achievable. It creates that roadmap, those milestones you need to track progress effectively.
And consulting with clients, defining requirements, scope, goals, that requires more than just organization.
Oh yeah, that's about understanding needs, translating them. They're often a key client contact, making sure the project stays aligned with what the client actually wants.
Which must tie into managing different stakeholder perspectives, too.
Exactly. Projects always have people with different priorities. The coordinator helps navigate that.
What about meetings? The article mentions chairing them and distributing minutes.
Crucial. Good meetings move things forward. Bad ones are just a time drain. So the coordinator often owns that, setting agendas, keeping things focused, documenting decisions and actions.
That documentation piece is key for accountability, I guess.
Absolutely. Everyone knows what was decided and who's doing what.
Okay, so assigning tasks, schedule admin, handling client needs as they evolve, helping with budgeting, spotting threats and opportunities, overseeing procurement. Wow, the list is long.
It really shows the breadth, doesn't it? They're involved in so many facets, tracking development, flagging concerns, documenting actions, being that point of contact, helping the PM clear roadblocks.
It's very hands-on.
Very. They're actively keeping the momentum going.
And ensuring projects stick to frameworks and the documentation's up to date. That sounds like quality control.
It is, in a way. ensuring consistency following agreed processes, managing changes, handling legal paperwork sometimes, ensuring standards are met. It's all about maintaining the project's integrity. Very detail-oriented.
It certainly sounds like it. Okay, let's shift a bit. What about the qualities needed? The article highlights exceptional organization, continuous learning, attention to detail. Seems obvious, given the tasks.
Highly desirable, yes. And building on that, the article mentions key skills. Multitasking is a big one.
I bet.
Promoting teamwork, obviously. Time management, we've touched on. Expense tracking if they're involved on budgets. And just a solid grasp of project management basics.
And it stresses being a great communicator again, that link between the PM and the team.
Critical, both written and verbal. They need to be clear, concise, talking to different people, technical teams, clients, managers.
Any mention of leadership.
Yeah, not maybe directive leadership like a PM, but definitely leadership in terms of coordinating operations, keeping the team working together smoothly. Team building skills are important when you're dealing with potentially large groups.
Okay, so what happens when things don't go perfectly? How do they navigate progress and challenges? Tracking progress seems constant.
It has to be. Consulting the PM, updating schedules, watching the spending, monitoring deliverables, making sure everyone knows their tasks and deadlines
Taking the project's pulse.
constantly.
Right.
And the article mentions challenges like varying skill levels in the team or figuring out staffing. It suggests things like regular team assessments to catch these things early.
So, contributing to solutions, not just flagging problems.
Ideally, yes.
And it specifically mentions their role in cost-cutting and time-saving. How does that work?
Well, by managing teams effectively, hitting deadlines, keeping clients happy, managing scope, all those things inherently save time and money. Being organized prevents waste.
Right. Efficiency?
And productive meetings, too. The article mentions clear agendas keep discussions focused. Seems small, but it adds up.
Makes sense. And when project changes happen, how do they communicate those?
The article suggests a mix regular meetings early on, email updates, visual aids like whiteboards sometimes.
A multi-channel approach.
Yeah, helps ensure everyone gets the message, understands it, and can act on it. Minimizes confusion when things shift.
Good strategy. Okay, let's look at the more concrete stuff. Admin and technical skills. Distributing documents, preparing reports. Those seem like core admin tasks.
Absolutely. Keeping that paper trail clear and concise.
And managing under pressure, prioritizing workload.
Crucial. Projects often have tight deadlines, multiple demands. They need to prioritize effectively without letting quality slip. It's a balancing act. Requires staying calm.
The article also breaks down project planning into 3 stages. Understanding requirements, planning and timeline, then implementation.
Yeah, a good basic framework.
Yeah.
And the coordinator supports all those stages.
So primary functions again, ensuring projects run successfully, on time, within budget, helping design aspects, monitoring progress, scheduling meetings, supporting the team, liaising between clients and providers.
It all comes back to that coordination role, driving things forward.
And how is their success measured?
Basically, did the project get completed with the intended outcomes? Did the team work together effectively? Did it stay on time and within budget? Those are the main indicators.
Clear benchmarks. And technically, basic word processing, spreadsheets.
That's generally the expectation, yes. Familiarity with standard office tools.
Okay, reality check time. Projects change constantly. How do they handle that? The article mentions needing inventiveness, quick decisions.
Adaptability is key. They need to roll with the punches, help the team see the big picture behind the changes, and be flexible with clients, especially for long-term relationships.
And what about resources? The article says people are the main resource.
Absolutely. Stakeholder participation, having a strong team with the right skills, that's critical. The coordinator helps facilitate that.
There's an example in there, isn't there? Working in development, setting goals, organizing resources, resolving issues with specialists like resource managers, quality engineers.
Yeah, it shows that collaborative, cross-functional aspect. They're often the hub connecting different experts.
What about starting a brand new project?
The article stresses understanding why the project exists, evaluating if it's really necessary, and working closely with the boss or PM to agree on the approach. Strategic thinking right from the start.
And the core steps again. Meetings, communication, follow-up. Simple but powerful.
That follow-up is vital for timely delivery. Reminders, checking in, addressing delays quickly in meetings.
And the working conditions. Sounds intense.
Often, yeah. Busy, complex, cross-company teams, unpredictable. Requires quick thinking, flexibility, tolerance, multitasking. It's a dynamic environment.
Okay, strategies and mindsets, clear objectives, open mind. Good advice generally.
Definitely. Clear goals give direction. An open mind allows for adaptation.
What about when things go wrong? Project failure.
The article lists common culprits: poor planning, bad management, weak communication. All areas a good coordinator can positively influence.
Right, their role is preventative in many ways.
Exactly. Proper planning, keeping everyone informed, tracking budget and timelines, having a communication strategy. These reduce the risk of failure significantly.
Okay, tools. Microsoft Project versus Excel.
The article notes MS Project has advantages: Gantt charts, reporting, budgeting tools, more specialized than Excel, though Excel is often used too.
And the difference between a project coordinator and a project manager.
Key distinction: coordinators usually work under or alongside PMs. They handle more admin, team support tasks. PMs typically do the higher level stuff: project initiation, big picture budget planning, risk assessment, top-level stakeholder communication.
What if they need info from, say, a subcontractor who isn't responding?
The advice is contact their management, follow up daily. Persistence.
Makes sense. And using tools like Google Drive, spreadsheets for tracking labor and expenses.
Yeah, practical tools for managing the financial side. The article also briefly mentions Excel functions like pivot table, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, just recognizing they might be useful data tools.
Okay, wrapping up with some scenario-based stuff. How does this role help career growth?
Prepares you for higher project management levels? Definitely. Builds IT skills. The article stresses going above and beyond, showing motivation.
So it's a stepping stone.
Often, yes. And prior experience in teams, time management, that's always valuable starting out.
What about reporting to multiple bosses? How to prioritize?
Treat projects based on their importance, essentially. Evaluate and allocate effort accordingly. Can be tricky.
Customer service issues.
Be professional, courteous, upbeat. Listen, resolve promptly. Good interpersonal skills are key there.
And client communication frequency.
Regularly. Keep them in the loop throughout the project. No surprises.
Handling unhappy customers.
Understand the issue first, try to fix it, escalate if you can.
How do you get team members to understand deadlines are important?
Reminders, offer help, emphasize why the deadline matters for the project's success.
The article has an example of a failure, right? A lesson learned.
Yeah, a near miss due to poor communication and cost overruns. The lesson: constant consultation, keep a close eye on the budget. Powerful stuff.
Avoiding miscommunication in general.
Open communication lines, be accessible, regular meetings. Pretty standard good practice.
Delivering bad news to a client, that's tough.
Honesty is key, according to the article. Explain the issues clearly. Maintain trust.
Unhappy team member.
Listen to them. Find the best solution for the project, and hopefully for them too.
Conflict between team members.
Meet individually first. Remind them of roles, teamwork, maybe restructure duties if needed.
And what does a manager expect from their coordinator?
Excel in soft skills, basically. Maintain client relationships, solve operational problems, maximize output. It ties back to that blend of skills.
Right, technical and interpersonal.
Exactly. It's a demanding mix: organization, communication, proactive problem solving.
So pulling it all together, project coordinators are clearly vital. They're the glue, often.
They really are. That bridge between the PM and the team, handling so much of the coordination and admin. Success really does hinge on those organizational and communication skills, plus being able to tackle problems head on.
And for you listening, hopefully this deep dive, using those interview questions as a guide gives you a really solid grasp of what this role is all about.
Whether you're thinking of becoming one, or you work with them, or you were just curious, you should have a much clearer picture now.
So here's a final thought. Think about the projects in your own work or even your life. How could applying some of these project coordinator principles, better organization, clearer communication, proactive problem solving, how could that help them succeed? What's the administrative backbone look like, or what should it look like to keep things running smoothly? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.